Right, welcome back again. I want you to tell me in the comment section, are you an African American? Are you an African? Or are you a foundational Black American? Or are you a black person? So, there are options. Are you an African? Or are you an African American? Or are you a foundational Black American, the FBA? Or are you a black person? Just tell me. Just look at yourself and then think about who you are. You know your identity, you know yourself. Then tell me, who are you? If you're an African American, tell me in the comment section. If you're an African, tell me in the comment section. If you are a foundational Black American, tell me in the comment section. If you're a black person, tell me in the comment section. Look at yourself, then let me know.
Cashback. Let me address this once and for all, okay? This is all about how Black African Americans think Africans don't like them, and how Africans think Black African Americans don't like them. But the honest truth is, we just think we're competing amongst ourselves, which is not true. We the same, we all blacks. The only difference is we came from the other side. Y'all been on this side. Americans, the Black Americans, we love you. We all the same. We should work together, eat together, party together. You an American right now, Black African American, you watching me right now, you know, you've heard that Africans don't like Black African Americans. Y'all think Africans think they're better than y'all because we know where we came from, because we came from somewhere. And some Africans think Black African Americans think they're better than them. So it's affecting how we work together, it's affecting how we party together, it's affecting how we eat and drink together. We all one. Let's love one another, man. So if you're an African, you're watching me right now, stop thinking you better than Black African American. They're your people, man. On some real nigga shit. So if you're an American, Black African American, you're watching me, stop all that competition, man. There shouldn't be no competition amongst ourselves, man. We should love one another. We're brothers and sisters. We from the motherland. Y'all been over here for a long ass time. Let's work together, man. There ain't shit going on. Let's work together and build together. All that competition going on, silent competition on the low key. Black African Americans look at Africans like, y'all think y'all better than us. Africans look at Black African Americans low key. Y'all think y'all better than us. It's not about who is better. Let's stop that narrative. Let's stop that competition. Let's work together. We should be one. So if you're watching me as Black African American, it's coming from an African man. We love you. Africans love Americans. White, black, pink, purple, yellow. We love y'all, man. We came from one God. We should love one another. I'm speaking on behalf of Africans. We don't have no beef, no problems with Black African Americans. We should stop the competition. We see it all the time. We hear it all the time, and it's affecting how we grow. It's affecting our growth. It's affecting how we interact. We should be one. We should come together. We should click on some real shit. So please, Black African Americans, we love y'all. Stop thinking we don't like y'all. And Africans, stop gigging. Stop making them feel like y'all don't like them. We love them. And I know y'all love Africans too, low key. But y'all think we're in competition. We're not in competition. We brothers, we sisters. So if you're watching me right now as a Black African American person, Africans love you. We don't have no problems with you, no issues. We are not in no competition. And I'm telling Africans too, Americans, the Black African Americans, they love y'all too. So let's stop the fight, let's stop the war, let's stop the argument, let's stop the competition, let's build together. We won. Let's love one another. So it's coming from an African man to Black African Americans. We all love y'all, man. Let's build together, okay? Cash back.
It's wild how African Americans are upset at me for calling out the hater-ass energy they have towards Africans. You got people questioning my ethnicity in the comments, asking me where my family is from, asking me where I was born, automatically assuming that I'm either Caribbean or African. Like, no, I'm from the east side of Long Beach. I'm literally as Black American as a Black American can get. And I just find it funny and ironic how me advocating for Black people around the world all of a sudden means that I'm anti-Black American. Like, why are you trying to gatekeep skin color? Y'all will do whatever you can to try to debunk someone's blackness in order to invalidate their experience as a Black person living and traveling in America, and to silence their voice when they're pointing out the degenerate behaviors that exist in the Black community. I'm the type of person that advocates for everybody. Now, all of a sudden, all the times that I stood up for African Americans mean nothing because I said, hey, stop hating on Tyler and we need to start respecting African people. Now, all of a sudden, I can't claim to be a Black American. What y'all don't realize is that people like me are always going to call out mistreatment and unfair behavior, even if it's coming from our own people, even if it's coming from the same group of people that we once stood up for. Because African people have been nothing but nice and welcoming towards us. So where is all this energy coming from, which African Americans have been very, very blatant and open about their disdain towards African people? Makes no sense. The way that y'all attacked me in these comments and advocating for African people, and calling out African Americans and their hater-ass energy that they have for African people is very telling to the type of people y'all really are. It's weird as fuck. And it really does expose the amount of self-hatred and bigotry that exists in the Black community in America. Telling African people that they have no right to call out the degenerate behaviors and the things that they see wrong with the Black community in America because they simply aren't born in America is one of the most intellectually dishonest things, is one of the most ignorant things that has ever came out of the Black community since the foundation of this country. The fact that you guys will put more emphasis on the pain and struggles that divide Africans and African American people rather than emphasizing the skin color that brings us all together. Can't make this up. This is deeper than just that. This is a spiritual war. The enemy uses division in the Black community to further block our collective progress. Can we as Black people around the world make any type of progress if Black people in America are fighting and envious and jealous of African people on the other side of the continent? The fact that African Americans cannot see how they're playing into the overall hand of the enemy by doing this and reinforcing these narratives is beyond me, because we should be the ones to recognize oppression and systematic racism faster than any other Black person here on earth. If Satan and the enemy can continue to keep us fighting, hating each other, questioning each other, we will never move in the unity that God designed for us as Black people here on earth, no matter what country or culture we come from. Because the Bible and God clearly states we are all one in Jesus Christ. Because division is man-made and God designed unity. Don't fall for the trap, y'all.
A Black American hating an African American hating a foundational Black American, a foundational Black American hating Africans. You know, if Africans call African Americans back to Africa, the foundational Black Americans feel bad. They feel that they're saying stop calling Black people to Africa. You know, when an African goes to America, the African American tells an African, go back to your home. This is our land. Don't come here. Don't start setting rules to us and all that. When an FBA is called by a Black person, whoever, any Black person, when they call them African Americans, they feel bad. They start fighting the Black people back. Don't call us African Americans. Don't call us Black people. And Africans on the African Americans, we are more hardworking than you. African Americans on Africans, you are uncivilized. You don't have a culture. You know, African Americans or Africans to African Americans, you don't have a culture. You are, I don't know what. I don't know, you are uncivilized. I don't know, you are still, you are poor. I don't know, you are from the third world country. I don't know I don't know this, I don't know that. And it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. Okay. I am a Black person, living in Africa.
Huh?
You are a black person living in the United States of America. And the difference between us is the place that we live, the location that we exist from. I am in Africa, you are in America. And there's another black person that lives in the United Kingdom. There's a black person that lives in France. There's a black person that lives in Spain, in Germany, in Portugal, in Belgium, in Italy. And there's a black person that lives in Russia, in China, you know. But all these people, when they come together, they are black people. There is one thing that put them together. There is one thing that can make them look alike, the color, which is a black color. Now, let me tell you something. While an African is hating on an African American, and an African American hating on a foundational black American, and a foundational black American hating on an African, and an African hating on an African American, and an African hating on a foundational black American, and a foundational black American hating on an African American, when we are doing all this, a white supremacist paints hate on all of us collectively. While we are hating amongst ourselves and trying to divide ourselves and having the hate within ourselves and all that, a white man, a white supremacist, hates on all of us collectively. So you, as an African American, you have hate from a white supremacist, you have hate from a foundational black American, and you have hate from an African. You, as an African, you have hate from a white man. You have hate for an African American who looks like you. You have hate for a foundational black Americans. You, as an FBA, you have hate from a white supremacist. You have hate from an African American. You have hate from an African person. You have one hate from your now the main enemy, and then you have hate from the people of your family. And the question is, until when? I love black people all over. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. As long as when I look at myself, when I look at myself, I see a color that resembles yours. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where I meet you. I will greet you. I will talk to you. I will help you where possible. I will love you. And I will never allow anybody else from any different race to take advantage of you. Because when I look at myself, I see a brother. I see a sister. But now the question is, this hate that is going around the black community, the FBAs, the African Americans, the Africans, and all that, until when? Many people try to justify this, and they will say, African Americans and Africans and Afro-Caribbeans, they're different, they're not the same. But as much as they look old people and they look like, philosophers or professors, people who have gone to school and they've learned, they are learned people, I cannot agree. I disagree. And I agree on the fact that whether black or brown or green or what or FBA or African Americans or Africans, we at some point came from the same land. And we are all humans. And all of us have a color that is black. We can differentiate on many things, but we have a black color. Now, I will say more later. But for now, take a look at what is happening. Take a look at this video. As you're watching it, prepare your thoughts. Have them shared with me in the comment section. I will do my best to make sure I read all of them and give a response where possible. But until then, let's take a look at the video.
How y'all doing? My name is Raekwon Diamond Kamal, and I've been hearing a lot online about foundational black Americans versus African immigrants that come here to America and settle and become African Americans. Now, myself personally, I don't have a problem with it because this is the truth. The only difference between foundational Black Americans and African immigrants is we were here longer. That's the only difference. But we are from Africa, the same as they are from Africa. You see, some blacks have this ideal that because our cultures are different, we cannot be put in the same category. Sorry, that's hogwash. That's bull. Okay? You see, black does not describe our culture. It describes our race. If you are a melanated person across the world, you're considered black. And they don't care what country you're from. I'm sorry, this is just the truth. They don't care where you're from. You're black, okay? Regardless if you're from Africa or anywhere else where your skin just happen to be melanated, they see you, they go black. Okay? So black does not describe our culture. American describes our culture. African describes our ancestry or where our bloodline is from. Okay? And unfortunately, it appears that out of all the different groups on this planet, we're the only ones that have a problem with it. Okay? Asian American culture is not the same as Chinese, Korean, or Japanese culture. It's not the same. But do you hear Asian Americans claim or deny or run from the fact that they're Asian? No, they don't. They're Asian American, and they're cool with it. You definitely don't see white people whose culture is definitely different from European culture. White American culture is not the same as European culture. Very different. But you don't hear white Americans being ashamed of their European culture. We just have a problem with it. I don't. As a matter of fact, my family got rid of their slave names and took back African last names. That's why my last name is now Kamau. And I'm so proud of my African last name. It's from Kenya. I love it. So, look, just know this. The only difference between African immigrants and us is that we were here longer. Only difference, but we're all still from Africa, making us all African American. And I'm cool with that. In the meanwhile, I know some of you might have some problem with it. I really don't care. But please, take care of yourselves and start loving one another. Talk to y'all later.
African Americans and Africans each have things that the other one wants. So let's talk about it. Okay? So I think I'm African American, first of all. I have to say that because people are coming with me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not manifesting my phenotype, but I am African American. So let me just position myself in that. Do I know a lot about Africa? Have I done work over there? Do I know people from all over the continent and specifics about certain cultures? Yes, but I'm African American. Boom. That's that. So let me just talk to my people first. African Americans. So I think a lot of us, when we think about Africans, and some of us, not me, we get nervous about them taking our space, and then we start talking about them taking over businesses and taking over spots in school, and so we start feeling this thing where we're like, well, we're going to be edged out, and we were here first, and we're doing this. Okay, but let's look at what is underneath this. So a lot of times, I think a lot of us get caught on the business thing. Okay, how are they coming over here doing this? And what we got to remember is no one is giving them anything. I know what people like to say, but when immigrants come over here, they don't have some basic things that we have. Okay, they cannot get educational scholarships. They can't get student loans. They can't get things like housing. They have to have all their papers in order. And a lot of times they're coming from away from their own families, so they have to be very independent. So I just want to put out there, we have to stop thinking that society is helping them and that they're getting all of these things and they're taking things from us, because as American citizens, we have rights to certain things that they just don't have. Okay, so with that in mind, then let's really look at it. I mean, like when you're talking businesses, well, how do they do it? What I want to say is, first of all, when you're an immigrant, any type of immigrant, you come over here there with an agenda. If we went and moved to any other place, we'd have an agenda, okay? We'd have to work very hard at it because we don't have the things that we have back home, Okay, so when immigrants come over, I do feel that a lot of times they're more pointed. For some of us, it's there. The education's there. So, we'll go back to school if we want to, and we know we can get things, but they don't. Okay, so they do a lot of times have that fire, and that's not just African immigrants, that's any immigrant that's coming over here, okay? But the other thing they have in a lot of communities that African Americans don't have is we don't commonly practice pooling our capital. Okay, we don't even do that. And actually, let's take a step back. Around the world, and I've said it before, we're primarily consumers. Okay, so we live in a capitalist society. So there are the makers of the products, the producers, and the consumers. So primarily, we're the ones that consume what everybody else is selling. And even a lot of times if we have ideas, we have to take it to them to produce it. So when it comes to capital, we're buying. We're never selling. And I don't think a lot of us realize that. But when Africans come over here, they simply understand capitalism. Now, it's not like we can't understand capitalism. I can get into the reasons why we are consumers, big consumers, and what that's all about. But honestly, we can't be mad. They're coming over there here and they know that this is a capitalist society and they know that they have to produce a product, get a business if they want to get ahead. And I feel like for so many years, a lot of us, we spent time integrating. Integrating's not bad, but to some extent, integrating means you have the company, I want to get in on that. And that's not bad. We had work to do in that area, but that did not make us good producers. So yes, when Africans come over here, not only do they have a very keen sense of what the society is, and they want to position themselves a lot of times as producers, and also, on the other hand, even in the Caribbean, they have ways of pooling their capital. And that's a system that we might have had it. I think maybe some time ago we've had it, but that's why I feel we're not really getting a lot of the same things. All right. Now, on the African side, I do feel from hearing from people, they come over and they can't understand because there's a lot of things that we take for granted that we have. Number one being education. If you go to a lot of countries, it doesn't even matter if it's a country in Africa, they don't have all these schools in one state. They don't have all these cheaper ways. A lot of times they don't even have universal primary education, which means that in order to go to grade school, you would have to pay for that. So a lot of times, yes, they're coming over and they're kind of looking at us like, you have all this and you're not taking advantage of it. Okay. And there's a lot of factors to that, but I got to admit, it's like to some extent, we do have all this. And when you have things, you kind of get laid back, and that is not how they're coming over. Now, I do feel that the longer they stay, especially when they get impacted by the things that I've talked about in terms of phenotype, and sometimes they come over here thinking they're different too, and they say, wait a minute, over here I'm black, I'm not just this. They don't really make a difference. Even if I think I'm better than somebody, the wider white society doesn't see that. And I have seen some struggle with not understanding why we're not just taking advantage. There's reasons for that. But at the same time, the longer they stay, they say, whoa, okay, I get it. This is hard. This is hard. It's harder than what I thought. Okay. So I do feel, what can we teach each other? I feel like African Americans can, instead of saying they're taking all this away, number one, we could look and start to learn how do we pool our capital like Caribbeans and Africans do. The idea that we put in a pot and then somebody gets a house and we spin off instead of acting just as separate entities. I think we could take that from them. And also in terms of education, we've gotten a little lax. I'm back in school again. I'm always getting educated, but come on, it would be natural for us to, because we have so much. And when you have a lot of things, you take it kind of for granted. Okay. And in terms of the Africans, I think on the whole, I think they are coming around. But I think on the whole, maybe there's work to be done. Well, put it like this. When you get here, you may think you're different, but I think the longer they stay, they start to understand. Okay. So those are the things that I think, both of us are looking at each other and we're trying to figure it out. Now, one more thing I will say when it comes to Africans, I do feel like sometimes they don't know this society like we know it. So there's always room, for them to talk to us, because despite what you might think, we've been in this society for 500 years. So bottom line, I feel like we can both learn from each other, but there are some very real things that we need to look at on both sides and realize that, there's a little bit of jealousy, maybe a little bit of envy.
I'm going to need Africans living in the US to understand that if it were not for African Americans and the descendants of African slaves, that y'all would probably not even be allowed in this country, let alone being able to enjoy all the rights and privileges that my people fought for. Yet y'all finding yourselves under African American music, wearing African American clothing, using African American vernacular to disrespect us. Make it make sense. Aren't y'all embarrassed? Because I would be. Y'all never have this energy with other groups of people who are actively oppressing others, actively oppressing people who look like us, because at the end of the day, we're black. And that's how the world is going to see us. But to see all these videos of other people in the African diaspora saying all this stuff, don't call me African American. I'm sorry, but if it walked like a duck, talked like a duck, then that's what it's going to be viewed as. A duck. I'm sorry that your imitation went a little too.
This is not me trying to divide anybody. This is not me trying to cause any trouble. This video is only for us to kind of acknowledge something that I feel should be acknowledged. If a specific culture don't want to be called something, why not respect that? If all of Black America didn't want to be called African Americans today, why not respect that? And this is not me trying to put down Africa. This is not me trying to insult any Africans out there. I love y'all, okay? I'm in the middle of this. I'm Caribbean. But after having a long conversation with my Black American friends, I understand where they're coming from. A lot of them want to be called Black Americans because they feel like a lot of y'all who are calling them African Americans, you are not acknowledging that they have their own culture. Black American culture is the #1 influence in the world. It's not even close. So why is the world acting like Black America don't have their own culture when Black Americans' culture been influencing the world for decades? I see a lot of y'all online trying to say that Black Americans don't have no culture. First of all, the audacity for you guys to say stuff like this, because a lot of y'all trying to make it to the US using Black culture. And what is culture? Culture is a way of talking, it's a way of living, it's food, it's sports, it's music. And the last time I checked, all I see online is people from around the world trying to copy Black Americans. I see Indian people rapping, I see Korean people rapping and singing, I see the list goes on, Middle Eastern people rapping. I've seen everybody trying to talk like Black people in America. It's not even close. I'm Haitian. When we fought slavery and we liberated ourselves, we created our own culture, and we're proud of that. And let's not be hypocrites here. You cannot go to a Caribbean man and call them something else than what they are. They will be extremely mad. And in some cases, they would want to fight you. So the same way that Caribbeans are proud of who they are because they created their own culture, the same way that Black Americans are proud of who they are because they created their own culture. It just makes sense. So if some people want to be called Black Americans, let's respect that. The same way that I want people to acknowledge me as a Caribbean Haitian man, let's respect that. The same way that I'm showing respect to all my African brothers and sisters. All right? So at the end of the day, let's respect each other's differences and let's unite, because at the end of the day, we all Black.
I see online Africans are fighting with African Americans because African Americans are saying that Africans don't understand them because Africans keep saying, come back to Africa. And or they're not sympathetic to their culture, and they're not sympathetic, or they don't understand why they call themselves Black. Well, I think my African brothers and sisters, before you come to America, you should do some deep research, some deep studying on the African American culture to understand us before you come here. That way there's a good understanding and there's less friction between the two different cultures. You have to understand that slavery, our ancestors went through slavery, chattel slavery, which put us as 3/5 of a human being within the Constitution of the United States in order to sell us like animals, then beat us, hang us, and take our lives, our ancestors' lives. And you have to understand that, our ancestors, went through the Jim Crow laws. They went through the civil rights movement. And we today, as African Americans, we still go through systematic racism against Black people. We deal with a lot. you know, and a lot of times even other minority groups turn their back on us, even when we fight for them. When it's time to fight for us, they turn their back on us. So it's a lot that African Americans go through. So I would say before you come over to America, that you just do some deep studying so that you can understand the culture of African Americans. And that way, the friction between African Americans and Africans will be less. Peace out, man. Peace and blessings.
In my 6 years of living in America, I've come to realize something. Like, white people, they treat African immigrants better than Black Americans. How Black Americans treat, African immigrants. I do not know what is the problem, because some of the Black Americans in America, like, they hate Africans. I don't know why they hate us. Like, I think their roots and their ancestors are African, of African origin, right? And that's why they are called African American. So I don't see the reason why, because I came to America, you should hate me, right? Why don't you just do your thing and I do my thing and we coexist harmoniously, right? So I've come to realize, like, some white people, like, they treat us better, they talk to us in a better way. But then when you talk to an African American, you hear, when you have a conversation, you hear there's something inside there, even if they're not telling you directly. You hear, or you can tell that there's some hatred within them, and I don't know why. Sometimes they say that we take their jobs. Sometimes they say a lot of things which are not true. And I'm like, this is your country. You're a citizen here. And if this is your country, what prevents you to get a better life? What prevents you to get that education, get that better job? If I come here in America, I go to school, I get an education, I become a citizen, I get a better job than you have, who is to blame? Who is to blame? Come on now. So I don't know why all this hatred, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's something that I've noticed, and I've realized that it's there. It's there, and it needs to end, because why should we be fighting? We look the same. We have the same origins, even if your origins just they rotate just back, but there shouldn't be hate. There should be love, okay? Because we're in this world to just coexist together, regardless of your race, regardless of your color, regardless of your religion, regardless of what you believe in, because we are all one race. We are all the human race, and we should coexist harmoniously. So stop that hate.
Okay, I'm the advisor for a group of African students. And the thing about it is, I hope that they learn from me, just as I'm learning from them. Me being Black American and them being, actually born and from Africa. Me being much older, there's some things that I know and have seen that they have yet to see because they're still young. But I think, just my personal opinion, the biggest cause, one of the reasons for the cause of the differences between Black Americans and, people from Africa is the fact that, number one, we never controlled our own history. How our history is taught, when it's shared, we never control that. That's been a huge factor, because me taking it upon myself to I like to learn about Africa. I like to learn about Black American history as well, because the two are connected. But we don't have control of our own history. We're always relying on it to be fed to us because it was snatched from us, especially Black Americans. The second thing is, most of the issues is based on the fact that we both have been sold marketing propaganda that's out of our control. Black Americans have been portrayed a certain way to the African community. The African community has been portrayed a certain way to the Black American community. So you have to actually get away from the media and the marketing to really learn about each community yourself. You have to. You can't do it watching TV. You can't do it watching movies. Because both sides, we're both portrayed in a negative way. And for some reason, we see what we see on TV and adopt that as, oh, that's all Africa. You know, like over here when they show the TV commercials of, you know, kids with flies and stuff all over on, oh, please feed them. You know, that's what they show us that Africa is. And then even, I'm not sure what they show in Africa. Now, I've been to Africa, so, but that was during my military days, so I didn't get a chance to really explore. But the thing about it is showing that black Americans are gangsters and shooters and all this type stuff. And it's so far from the truth of what each one is. And the other thing is, at a certain point, you have to start actually interacting with each other. Not assuming, but just, we got to start interacting with each other on a more, I don't care. I mean, you can do Zoom meetings, whatever, but it needs to be something where you're interacting with someone from Africa, from America, to sort of understand. Because there's just so much to unpack. Will it happen overnight? Will things be different overnight? No. But it's a starting point. Keeping it short.
I don't know what's brewing here in America, but I do feel like something is brewing. I was just watching a sister's video, and she was saying the division amongst African Americans and continental Africans. And it's just really bad. Like, the brothers over there born on the continent of Africa look at us as lazy, gangster, good-for-nothing niggas. And when I was young, we looked at them that lived on the continent of Africa as African booty scratchers. Yeah, it's funny, but it's not funny. Because as you get older, you realize, wait a minute, I have nothing but African blood flowing through me. And yes, Africans were the first people who touched this continent, North America. But that doesn't mean that all of us were already here. And that doesn't take away from the transatlantic slave trade. I think right now we need to bring us African and African Americans together.
I get tired of hearing the narrative that uniting globally as black people only and solely benefits Caribbeans and only and solely benefits African people, and that could be further from the truth. But it's like, to say that, to genuinely believe that, so disrespectful to the African people, the African nation, and the African culture. It's so disrespectful to the Caribbean people, the Caribbean nation, and the Caribbean culture. Because to genuinely believe that, you would have to believe that these people cannot contribute anything, that they don't come from anything, and that they virtually hold no value in the conversation, specifically in the global unification of all black people. Reinforces this false sense of superiority that a lot of black people in America have over African people, have over Caribbean people. And that's why it makes it so false. It makes it seem like global unification of all black people and the benefits from that and the footwork to be put in to achieve that can only be done, only made possible because of black people here in America. To make it seem like we would be the ones to be doing all of the work, and that all of the benefits would only go to them. Because in your mind as a black American, an African person, because in your mind as a black American, a Caribbean person wouldn't have contributed enough to be like, yeah, this person actually helped to achieve this goal. Like, I'm trying to genuinely get down to the bottom of this. It's like at the exact same time, the same people who make this argument as black Americans are the same ones who want to point and laugh at African people, say, well, you have all the resources, you can't even help yourself in your own nation. So then these contradictions come up and I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? Does Africa have vital resources in which they are being oppressed to where they can't use it for themselves? Or do they have nothing to contribute to the global unification of black people? Because both can't be true at the exact same time. Either they have something of value that can be contributed to the whole entire black global diaspora, or they simply don't. To believe that about African people, to believe that about Caribbean people is so shallow-minded. It's very uneducated. It just shows how much knowledge we lack when it comes to Caribbean people, their culture, and their nation. When it comes to African people, their culture, and their nation. Africa has gold, cobalt, the oil, the lithium, the land, the foundation for modern civilization. How would those things not benefit black people globally? Not to mention a rising youth population that's refining in things like tech, fashion, music, entrepreneurship. We are literally talking innovation, trade, and real leverage that can help all Black people globally. You have to get out of the conditioning of demonizing African people, African culture, and African nations. They want you as a Black person to not identify as Africa and to identify as an FBA, to identify as a Ceylon Black person here in America, so that you won't receive your real inheritance, which isn't reparations from your ancestors being slaves, but your inheritance to the motherland in which your ancestors were taken from. Uniting with African people reconnects us to the land, which reconnects us to the resources, which then kicks them out. That's why they want you to identify as an FBA. That's why they want you to identify as a Ceylon person. Because if you do that, and you say, I don't have any connection to Africa, African people, nor their culture or that land, then you are cutting yourself off from the resources that you do have entitlement to, are collectively, rightfully yours. Because within studying and practicing Pan-Africanism, I then realized reparations isn't a check. Reparations isn't 40 acres and a mule. Reparations isn't a piece of a nation. No. Reparations is about having our own country and being part of our own Black nation we should have never been taken from in the first place.
So you're telling me in 2025, Black Americans are fighting against Africans? Like, really? Let's be for real. It's like I'm fighting against my roommates. We got the same skin color. No matter what you think, there's always something natural that will come and happen. Like, for example, when I go to a place where there's no Black people and I see one Black person, just one, I tell myself I'm safe. Because I know that dude over there, if there's a problem, he got me. And if there's a problem, I got him back too. Regardless of his origin, where he comes from, I don't care, as long as we have the same look. Because believe it or not, we always look the same, guys. I'm just wondering why people are telling themselves right now. They don't even have to try. We're just killing ourselves. In 2025, for real? This is the dumbest fight ever. Ever. I don't know what Martin Luther King is saying right now, looking at us fighting against each other for things that don't even make sense. August 1st, August whatever, you support the Black business, regardless of where the people comes from. I don't care. You just go, you support it. Because we got to a point where we have to fight against each other. And what is this? What's happening to my people? What make it make sense? Man, you guys are not done with fighting. We fight all the times. We fight today. We fight. Please, it's 2025. Pick the right fight, please. This is not the right fight at all. I won't support neither. Let's just live together. Come on, man. What is wrong with you?
Now, the video you've seen, it has many people. Those who say, let's maintain unity and love. Those who say, you people, don't try to compare yourself with us. We are not like you. Those who say, we don't want to be like you. Stop asking us to come back to Africa. We are not from Africa. We are not Africans. Those who are saying, we hate African Americans and all that. But let me tell you something. Deny your brothers. Deny your sisters. Deny your parents, your fathers and mothers. Deny them. Deny your uncles. Deny your aunties. Deny your cousins. Deny them. But one thing I know, blood is always thicker than water. And you'll go everywhere. But there is no place you will go and anything changes. As long as you are brothers, you will remain brothers. Even if you kill your brother, he still remains your brother. He will be dead, but he will be your dead brother. I really hate when I see the fight and war amongst the Black people. White people are fighting you, and then you're fighting yourselves. White people are criticizing you, you're criticizing yourselves. White people are discrediting you and disqualifying you and calling you fools calling you uncivilized, calling you illiterate, calling you criminals. You are also there calling your brothers and sisters criminals, calling them uncivilized, calling them illiterate, calling them poor, and all that. A white person has taught you to hate on your brother, to hate on your sister. And that is what you're doing every day. You're hating on your brother. You're hating on your sister every single day. It's hatred after hatred after hatred. Let me tell you something. Despite the fact that FBAs, I've come across an attitude of an FBA, and I feel like an FBA has a certain attitude that just shows how angry they are and proud of themselves and with a lot of arrogance. And I'm like, these people, even with their pride, even with their arrogance, and even with their too much anger, as long as this person is a black, me at Levi, I love them that way. Me as a Tamba, I love them that way. Why? Because they have one thing that resembles mine, the skin color. They have one thing that resembles mine, the type of hair. It doesn't matter how much arrogant they are, how much proud of themselves they are. But as long as we have the skin color that is the same, that resembles, this is my brother, this is my sister. It's okay if you ask me to stop calling you an African American or not to stop referring you as an African American. I will not, because I respect you. I respect your views. I respect how you want to be addressed and all that. If you tell me to stop asking you to come back to Africa, it is okay. I'll stop asking you to come back to Africa, and I'll approach those who want to come back to Africa and tell them, you know what, you should come back to Africa. But you, I won't touch on you. But I will never stop respecting you. I will never stop loving you. Why? Because you resemble me. If I meet you on the road, without you speaking, I will not know you have that kind of an accent. I'll just treat you and look at you as other person from this same land of Africa. Because you don't look like a white person. You look like a black person. You look like me. You are me. You are definitely me. Because you look like me. You're a black person like me. Deny the fact that Africa is not your land. You did not come from Africa. But me, I will never stop looking at you as an important person. Why? Because you look like me exactly. The only difference between me and you is the accent, not even the culture. Don't talk about the culture. Don't talk about anything else. We are black people. And that is what matters. Stop hating on your brother. Stop hating on your sister. Let us maintain love. Let us come together. If we can't love ourselves, nobody else will love us. The enemy is just somewhere laughing, looking at the people dividing themselves and fighting and quarreling. The devil is just watching. The devil is watching you. When you're fighting, when you're having war among yourselves, the devil is just watching and smiling and feeling good. The enemy is just watching and smiling and feeling good. And the question is, until when? Until when shall we be fighting? Until when will we continue having issues and matters of African Americans and black people fighting? Or the FBAs? Until when will this change? Until when will this come to an end? Until when will there be a difference? Until when? There must be a difference. And there should come to an end. It is something that must come to an end. Because nobody else will unite us. Nobody else will bring us together. We must be together. We must come together. We must maintain the love. We must maintain. No one will love us. Nobody will take care of us. Nobody will think about us. See, we are one. You are like me. I am like you. We have a skin color that is the same. We have a color of the skin that resembles each other. My skin color resembles yours. Your skin color resembles mine. It doesn't matter who are you. You're an FBA, you're an African American, you're an African. We are the same. The things to do, we have a different culture. I don't know who invented what. I don't know who started what. I don't know who is hard work. I don't know who is lazing around. People have got their own disabilities. Africans, they have got their own problems. African Americans, they have got their own problems. The foundational black Americans, they have got their own problems, and nobody is perfect. All of us, we have our own problems, and there is nobody who is perfect. There is nobody who is going to be perfect in this world. It is only Jesus Christ and God who are perfect. We are not perfect. We human beings are not perfect. You African, standing before an African American and criticizing them because of the things they are doing or something like that. Remember also, there are things you cannot do and they can be able to do. They have their points of strength. You have your points of strength. You have your points of weakness. They also have their points of weakness. Let's see each other as one person. The only thing we have in common is a color. If you're walking on the road, you are an FBA, you come across an African in the United States of America being mistreated, will you pass? Will you go away because you're an African and you're an FBA? You might not even be able to know if he's an African at first place because you'll think he's just an African American or your fellow FBA. Let's maintain love. Nobody will teach us love. Our enemies will not teach us love. Our enemies will not teach us to stand by our own people, to stand for our own people, and to protect our own people. Our enemies will not teach us that. Our enemies will always try to be against us. Be vigilant. Wake up. Wake up. Be vigilant. Black people, wake up. Stop with the things of FBAs. Stop with the things of African Americans. Stop with the thing of I'm an African. I am an African American. I am a black American. I am a foundational black American. Stop with all those things. We are blacks. All over the world, we are blacks. We are black people. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I will gladly read it and give a response where possible. Are you a black person? Or are you an African American? Or are you a black American? Or are you a foundational black American? Who are you? Me, I'm a black person. And I am proud being a black person. God bless.